and that is to introduce our President and CEO, Craig Grooms, for some closing comments. So please welcome Craig to the stage.
Thanks, Doug. Good afternoon, everyone. Nice seeing you again. We were here about 24 hours ago, and I hope you had a great conference. I think we had a lot of great speakers. I really appreciated your involvement, and I want to thank you for taking the time to come here. I know it's difficult sometimes to cut out a couple days in your busy work weeks, but I appreciate you coming here. I appreciate catching up with you, chatting with a number of you. I always like to hear what's going on out at your co-op and what's happening in your community, so I always appreciate that opportunity. So I wanted to start with a few thank yous. First of all, it's difficult to put an event like this on, so I want to thank everyone involved with organizing it, Doug, Missy, Ryan, Melissa, everyone else. I appreciate all the work that you did in putting something like this on. It takes a lot of time and effort, so thank you. I want to thank the sponsors. Without them, we couldn't put something like this on, so thank you to the sponsors and the participants. So, it can be nerve-wracking to be in front of a big group. So I appreciate the willingness of all the panelists and the participants to get up here and tell you about their story, tell you about their expertise. So I really appreciate that from everyone. So thank you. So just a quick review of not every topic, but most of them. So thank you for all the great questions yesterday during the pre-conference Q&A. I think we are in alignment in terms of where we think OREC and Buckeye Power is going and our relationship and partnership with the co-ops. I appreciate the great questions, the chatter, the commentary that we had. And again, I think we're very well aligned, and I think we have a great future. So I look forward to that. I know Mark's not here, but thanks to Commander Mark. I've said to a couple people, I was amazed I had never heard his story before. And I don't know if it was because they had not declassified the events that took place there for a number of years, but it was an amazing story. It was entertaining. The patriotism was fantastic, and I really felt good about us, our organization, our country, and so it was a very entertaining night with Mark. So moving on to today's event, so electrifying artificial intelligence. I think Peter did a great job, very entertaining. It's a very interesting co-op. They have a lot of growth. They have been, I think, very on the leading edge of technology, so that was great to hear. I'm still trying to figure out, I think a lot of us are trying to figure out, what is this AI thing going to be? We hear about these data centers, the amount of artificial intelligence that's going to be incorporated into our lives. I still have a lot of questions. I think he was able to give us a couple real-world examples of how they're going to use AI, but I still have questions, and things feel like a bubble, but we'll see how things progress. I think anything that makes our lives better and more productive, that's generally good. But I think we're going to learn a lot more over the next few years than what we know now. Always love talking about Project Ohio and mutual aid. I'm really very proud to know the guys that went down there to Guatemala this year. I feel the same way about the guys that went in the past years. And it's just a way, I think back, it's similar to what really started the co-op program in the 30s and the 40s. We had communities that were not electrified. Communities came together. They pooled resources. They had some help from the government, and they did for themselves, and they electrified the rural areas. And so I consider what we're doing in Guatemala a version of that. A little bit of charity. It's a challenging government, a challenging culture, but you can see everything we heard today. They're very appreciative of our efforts. So thanks to the guys who participate in that. And mutual aid is really, we talked about it yesterday, we talked about it today, and we talk about it constantly. And we need to, because it's great to be able to rely on each other in times of need. And I think everything we see with mutual aid just compounds and multiplies our understanding and appreciation of that ability to lean on other co-ops. Listening to Micah today, I've talked about leadership development yesterday, the programs that we have. I hear young students like that, and I'm amazed at where we're going. I think the potential in our younger generation. We hear all all the time about different challenges and thoughts about our younger generation, but whenever I hear somebody like Mike, I feel very good about the future. And then thanks to Doug for that great session on succession planning, board assessment. You know, we all are always, I think for all of us who want to do well in our jobs, we want honest feedback, and that starts with the acceptance and accepting the reality of you may hear something you don't necessarily want to hear, but if you want to get better, it's great to hear that. And so it's very proactive. I think it's important for a board to get into that. It's good for corporations. We do succession planning. All of your co-op and co-op leaders do succession planning, so it was great to hear that we have this program available. So just a few key takeaways / summary of what we've talked about over the last couple of days. You know, during the Q&A yesterday, I talked a lot about, you know, the appreciation I have for the long-term planning of owning and operating our own generation resources. We've seen a lot of volatility over the last couple of years. I think we're going to see more volatility going forward, but that long-term planning is going to pay off. We have very valuable assets I think will provide affordable, stable electric rates from the G&T, and I really appreciate that long-term forethought that our predecessors have, and I think it's going to pay off going forward. Challenges will continue. We always have challenges. EPA, you know, I'm hyper-focused on doing what we can to help repeal or rescind or rewrite these EPA rules that were released in 2024. We've seen a lot of activity over the last few weeks. I think we're going to have some success as 2025 unfolds. And I'm hoping when we have the summer conference, we're going to have some good things to talk about. And so a lot's going to happen between now and then, but I'm very focused and very positive on where things are going. We talked a lot about resource adequacy, reliability. It's going to be a concern. We're doing the right things. I think we're advocating for sensible rules, and so I'm hoping that the electric industry as a whole will have the forethought and the ability to do the right thing at the end of the day. Transmission costs, we talked about that yesterday. Again, I think that's going to be one of our leading cost pressures. The fact that we are transmission-dependent utilities, transmission owners are making a lot of investments for a lot of different reasons, so we're going to have to manage that as good as we can. And then this next thing, again, it's not really a challenge, but it's really investing in employee development. Director development, next generation leader development, we're doing that. We want to continue what we're doing. We want to get better at what we're doing, and we look forward to working with you in the future on that manner. And then finally, you know, we talked a lot about safety today. That really is the number one priority in all the things we do, and we talked about it today, and I think it's really important that, again, we're going to do everything we can. I'm very appreciative and I'm proud of what Colt has developed into, the fact that we're completely engaged and partnered with the co-ops across Ohio and really the country. We're good now. We need to keep getting better, and whatever we can do to help your co-ops do better on the safety front, we want to help out with that. We talked about member satisfaction. It really does, you know, us as the statewide, as the G&T, we're focused on what you need as co-op members of the G&T, but also what your members need, and we want to help you in any way we can to maintain that high satisfaction. I think it makes us more influential, and anything we can do with that, we want to definitely support. And then what we talked about yesterday is staying unified. I hear when I go to different meetings and speak with other G&Ts, other statewide organizations, they always talk very positively about what we have going on in Ohio. There's a number of states where the co-ops don't necessarily get along. There's a few squabbles, and I think it takes away from the voice that they have, the power that they have to advocate for sensible rules. And so I'm incredibly appreciative to what we've created in Ohio, and I want to do everything I can to make that continue. So thank you. And finally, that's it. Yeah, great event. I really appreciate everybody's involvement, the participants, the organizers. Great event. This was my first event in this role, so I appreciate all the support. I appreciate all the conversation, and I look forward to doing more in the future. Thank you.